We are doing a reading for the inner child who is ready to heal the mother wound. I'm lighting some incense for us. This is bliss incense. And I chose it because I feel like the inner child deserves bliss. The inner child deserves rest, deserves ease. And that's what I want to create here, a safe space for your inner child to land, to relax. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope y'all are having a good day. I'm having a good day, honestly. I'm feeling very good, very grounded, very relaxed. I've had a really productive day. Went and got some groceries. That made me happy. Did some business things. I'm really enjoying Taurus season. I'm really indulging and just enjoying myself. Like I put on some press-ons today. Ooh, got some incense. Resin on my fingers. Alrighty. I'm gonna set that there. Move my crystals around, y'all. Alrighty. So we got our bliss incense going. Thank you guys for joining me. If this is your first time, I'm Aviana. This is Aviana's Ascension. And I approach tarot with the energy of, we all create our own reality. Our souls, especially like when it comes to our parents, right? Our souls do choose who our parents will be. They choose certain interactions we're going to have, where we're going to live, the siblings that we have, the situations we go through, the lessons, the contracts. And I think a really empowering thing for me was coming to the realization that my soul really did co-create this experience with the universe. And I continue to co-create this experience with the universe because I am the universe living a human experience. And I know how to, manifest and things, like look at things in a certain way to help me instead of hinder me. And I think once we really start to realize these things, it helps us not give our power away to certain situations, to certain experiences, disappointments. And I think that's such a powerful thing to be able to say, this may not have panned out how I expected. This may not have been what I thought I was going to have. This may have been painful, traumatic, disturbing. But I'm going to become better, do better for myself, for the planet, because I'm not going to contribute like that. I'm not going to show up like that. And that's the thing. Sometimes our parents, our moms, sometimes our moms are here to show us in certain ways what we don't want, what we do want. You know what I mean? Maybe there's a little of this, a little of that, maybe all this, all that, whatever the case may be. We all have different moms, different relationships with our moms, different journeys, because, sometimes it can start one way, go another, vice versa. So this reading is really, and my approach to tarot, which I kind of forgot that's where I started, but my purpose here on earth is to help people reclaim their power from pain, and I know the pain of childhood trauma, inner child pain in regard to a parent, especially your mother, can be very, very deep, and there's just so many different situations, different circumstances that, there's not like a one thing fix all sort of situation. But my approach with anything that's good, bad, comfortable, horrible, whatever, is to find the lesson in it, find the purpose in it, because everything does happen for a reason. And I think when you allow yourself to find the purpose in a situation, that's how you reclaim your power from it. And it's not to say that what you went through was okay. It's not to say that it was easy or that anyone is like off the hook or whatever, which that's a whole nother thing, being off the hook. To me, people know what they do, or they're so unwell that they can't comprehend it, or that they can't face it. Either way, either existence, either side of the spectrum is a punishment in and of itself. And that's why I just wish healing for people, because in order to do, bad things or whatever, see, we have the death card, the Ten of Swords. Maybe someone's mom has recently passed, or someone has maybe cut off their mom recently. Or maybe they're just like, I really need this relationship to change. I want us to be successful. I want us to be able to have a fresh start, but there's a lot underneath it. There's a lot there. Yeah. I mean, everyone's relationship with their mom is different, and everyone has to approach their mom differently, right? So no matter how you have to navigate that relationship with your mom, whether you talk to her, whether you don't, whatever the situation is, and there could be some people on here who maybe their mom was an amazing person, but maybe she passed. Maybe she passed when you were young. Maybe you have an amazing adoptive mom, but you still have those issues about being adopted or being given away by your birth mother. There's so many different circumstances there. But my job is to help you turn any pain, no matter where you're at, into purpose, into enlightenment, into a beautiful lesson. Because essentially that's what we're here to do. We're here to grow and evolve. And, there's certain situations where maybe there was past life karma, maybe there was, soul contracts and things like that. Like, you never know why certain things happen on this earth, but I do know that it's always to help us, even though it may not be what we want or what we think we should have had, or, shoulda, coulda, woulda kind of thing, or the expectation or the society, you know what I mean? No matter any of that, it all happens for a reason. And here on earth, we are here to grow and evolve. And a lot of the times, those are through very difficult circumstances and situations. And the thing is, you never deserve, especially as a child, you never deserve that pain, that discomfort. You never deserve to feel unloved, to be hurt, to be scared, to be abused, neglected, none of that. So that's not what it was about, It was here to teach you something. Because the universe wouldn't just punish a child for no reason. And, right now I'm thinking of the kids that are in Gaza that are, being bombed, that are being killed. I mean, they just bombed the school in Iran, you know what I mean? And a lot of people could say well, what about those children? What kind of sick lesson is that? And to me, especially right now, I will say this is a big time of, there's a lot of fear. Yeah. A lot of fear, a lot of grief. Some of you might be an artist. I'm just really drawn to how beautiful this art is. Maybe through art is how you are able to release some of that pain. Maybe doing some sacral chakra healing for that creativity and that flow. But yeah, it's very much like this combobulated within the gut, within the heart, within the mind, body, spirit. It's time to get back into balance. Because here's the thing, and this is why I say this. Okay, so hold on. About the kids in Gaza, because right now, this is a big time of dismantling illusion, letting negativity, letting low vibration be the rule, poverty, there's so many things that are unnecessary that are happening now. And the thing is, the world's been built on this system that is meant to oppress and meant to hold certain people down and uplift certain people and use certain people. And you know what I mean? This isn't anything that's new. But I believe that it's all coming to a head right now, and it's a very difficult time to be here on earth as a human. But I do think a lot of us came here to help raise the frequency of the earth. And so some people, some souls, their sacrifice is to be that that child, that young person, that reporter, that nurse, whoever, to incite anger, disbelief, these things that are needed, these emotions, this raw reactions that are needed to create revolution, right? Because I said earlier, change rarely comes when you're comfortable. You have to be uncomfortable. You have to go through something in order to inspire you to move differently, to choose differently, to go out there and make a difference, whatever that means in whatever area in life. And right now, this is a big time, Age of Aquarius. It's all about challenging the status quo and the humanitarianism and shifting. And I'm an Aquarius. I have 4 Aquarius placements, right? So it's like, I can understand why souls have chosen certain roles, even though they're painful and hurtful and like horrific, traumatic, like beyond 1111 on the timer. It happens because the change is necessary. And the souls know it is an honor to have that sacrifice, whether it's, I'm thinking of the little boy Liam, I believe, with the bunny ears that got detained by ICE. That's horrific. But things like that are what get people to say, "What is going on here?" It leads to protests. It leads to voting. You know what I'm saying? And whether it's in that way or being a teacher, being a nurse, being a politician to change things, being a healer, being a lawyer, or even just choosing in your day-to-day life, I'm going to heal this. I'm going to stop this generational trauma. I'm going to, not choose a partner that is mean to me or abusive to me or doesn't take care of the kids. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain things, whether big or small, that you're deciding because of the painful things you've been through, I'm not doing this again. And a big part of that is through your childhood. And the thing is, sometimes, most of the time, almost every time, you start here and it's so uncomfortable and it's so unbearable. But again, if you were comfortable in this, you wouldn't heal it. So that's what's happening here. It's getting so uncomfortable. It's almost like when you're getting dental work done, or like before you go to the dentist, right? Because tooth pain is no joke, right? It's something that you're like, I got to get this taken care of, right? So it's like you might ignore it, get some Orajel, do what you got to do until it's okay. See, truth, discomfort, grief, reflection. Exactly. Only through discomfort and grief are you going to search for truth and reflection, right? Because if it wasn't uncomfortable, if it wasn't unbearable, you wouldn't want to change it. You wouldn't want to change that generational curse, right? Because again, especially in America, right? Like right now, and I feel like across the whole world, I can't speak for the rest of the world because I don't live there. But here in America, like it is getting very unaffordable. It's getting real wild out here, right? But before our parents, they had things weren't as expensive. It was a lot more affordable. It was a lot more comfortable. But now, even our basic comforts are so unaffordable that we have to pay attention. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. And even though it's uncomfortable and it's, everybody wants to say like, oh, I wish I could have lived, been old enough to buy a house in the 2008 housing crisis, or like back in the day, everybody could afford things, or they talk about like boomers being able to afford houses and like pay for a whole family with like a 9 to 5 kind of thing. And it's like, yeah, that would have been nice, but it's also like, I don't want to walk around with like the wool over my eyes. That's what was going on, dissolution. Yeah. So now it's time to be real. And it's time to let go of the narratives that are no longer serving you. Because think about it, like there's certain people that it's like, I wouldn't want to be in those shoes. Even though this is so hard, at least I'm aware. At least I know what's going on. I remember I was at the St. Louis Mystic Fair a couple weekends ago, and people would walk by and be like, tarot readings, like, I don't know, I'm scared of that, just a few people. And I would always tell them, I'd be like, well, I'm not, kind of giving the spiel I gave earlier. Like, I don't approach tarot and like, I'm predicting things for you way. It's more so, how do you need to get in alignment so you can create the reality that you want, right? And I told him, I was like, awareness is a superpower. So don't knock it, you know? Awareness is a superpower. So let's go ahead and get into the reading. 15 minutes in, 15:15 on the timer. I saw 12:12 earlier. Yeah, it's like things are changing into a more abundant, more creative, more flowing energy. And that is leading into more harmony, community. It's going to be beautiful. Okay, so to start us off, we have mother healing. As your feelings towards your mother heal, your desires manifest more rapidly and accurately. So this is what we're starting with. I'm going to read this out of the book, but surrounding that card, we had synchronicity. Your prayers and answers, excuse me. Your prayers and questions are being answered by synchronistic events. Notice them in order to increase their flow. Beautiful. So spirit's acknowledging, like, yeah, you've been through the ringer. There's been a lot. There might have been like maybe like favoritism between siblings, or like maybe you felt pinned against each other, or maybe you felt like not as taken care of as the other. Like maybe it was like a situation where your sibling could have had like special needs in some way, or needed just extra care, extra attention, whatever the case may be. And it wasn't like you resented anybody, like you understood, but it was just like, I did feel a little left out, or I just wish there was more dedicated time, more intentional time with me as well, even though I understand. And that's a beautiful place to be, but it's also hard because it's like, I'm not angry. I'm not mad at anybody. These are just my feelings. But spirit is sending you a lot of signs, a lot of messages. They're trying to point you in the right direction here. See, I'm noticing like this star here. They're like trying to send you a signal to help you heal, to help you overcome this energy. Some of you may benefit from getting some crystals, not sure which ones, not getting any, maybe rose quartz, but there might be some crystals. If there's been crystals you've been thinking about getting or meditating with, go ahead and do that. And then we have consult an expert. More information is needed. Contact someone with expertise in this area. So some of you may be needing to potentially go to therapy or seek a counselor, maybe like a spiritual healer of some sort. And if this is something where it's not necessarily about healing the mother wound, maybe I'm like hearing like someone's estate. Maybe somebody, like if their mom had passed and maybe something seems off with the will, or you have questions around the estate, the will, something like that, inheritance, something. Talk to a lawyer. Not one that's in your family, not one that you know, a lawyer. Or if like you have a lawyer that you trust and use, that's fine. But someone that's professional, on a professional basis. Specific message there. Okay, let's drink some water, everybody. Okay. So let's read more about mother healing. Oh, and this is on page 22. See, a lot of you guys are seeing a lot of angel numbers. That is what it is. That's been the signs. Well, with the angel numbers that we've been seeing with like 2 and 1, 11, 11, 3, 5, with 12, 12, 15, 15, however you want to look at it. All of it is about like balance, things coming together, creativity, abundance. Like it's a really good energy, which is beautiful. Okay, so let's read about it. By drawing this card, heaven asks you to release some remaining mother issues. Give the entire situation to heaven, knowing that everything is in the hands of the infinite spirit. The situation may heal in unexpected ways. Be unconcerned with how it heals and be vigilant in releasing any lower energies connected to your mother that could interfere with your life's mission. See, exactly. It's like in regard to like wanting things to change or wanting someone to show up in a different way or whatever, like, because we can't force someone else to do things, right? So if that's the case, trust that the angels, your spirit guides, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, is helping orchestrate that, right? Because that's a soul contract that you have with your mom. So you don't have to necessarily have it figured out right here, right now. And you can continue to work on you, do you, while that gets handled. And so any lower energies connected to your mother, send them to heaven because those don't serve you either, right? By releasing any mother issues to heaven, your heart opens further to accepting joy and blessings into your life. Your mother benefits when you're happy, whether or not she's consciously aware of it. Be willing to forgive and release old issues relating to your mother. Oh, wait. Be willing to forgive and release old issues relating to yourself, your mother, mother figures, or anyone connected to your mother. By cleaning your inner house, you invite new love, opportunities, abundance, and healing energy to your life. That's beautiful. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you can't manifest new energy, like higher frequency, if you're exuding a low frequency, even if it's in a different area of life, you know? Even if you're like, well, I want a new relationship, but so that has nothing to do with my mom stuff. They correlate more than you know, just because it's just energy, right? That's beautiful. I love it. I love that energy. There was something else that it said that I really liked. Oh yeah. Um, and with other mother figures as well, right? Because this isn't just like your birth mother, right? Because I already mentioned adopted parents and also like grandmas, aunts, sisters. And even if this is like maybe you have a great relationship with your mom, or maybe people did things to your mom. And so you're hurting for her or like feeling that pain for her, you know? Oh, I love it. There's so many ways you could break it down. Okay, I'm gonna pull a few of these cards, let them shuffle out, just because I feel like hanging out with you guys today, honestly. So let's just kick it. All right, Spirit, let's get some more oracle messages here for the collective, for the mother healing. All right, just one. Self-forgiveness. Let go of old guilt and remember that you're God's perfect child. Wow. This is the only one. Look how beautiful, how powerful that is. I love that it said you are God's perfect child, right? So no matter what your relationship is with your mom, your mother figure, whoever you're watching this reading for, and maybe even like for yourself, maybe you feel like I need to forgive myself for the mom that I've been, you know, whatever. It's letting you know no matter where you are there, where you stand. See, I can't even talk, but I don't care because I'm God's perfect child too. We are all God's perfect child, you know? And the thing is, like, good, bad, ugly, whatever, we are all sent here to do certain things for certain reasons. And sometimes that makes us the villain, sometimes that makes us a victim. And that is very uncomfortable and very hard to deal with, maybe even hard to forgive yourself for enduring certain things. Sometimes that's even the hardest part. You know, why didn't I stand up for myself? Why can't I forgive? Why can't I let it go? Why am I still angry? Why did I do that? I wish I could take it back, change, you know? All of these are symptoms of being a human. But God, the divine, these higher energies, these higher beings, it's all love, you know? You know, there is no like heaven or hell. It's just love, you know, different dimensions. But at the end of it all, everything even on earth is all love because it's either teaching you or it's blessing you. And being taught, growing wiser is a blessing. And the thing is, I feel like some of you are holding the energy of like, I wish I could forgive. I wish I wasn't so angry. But the thing is, your inner child doesn't deserve to hold that anymore. And that's why I want to do this reading. And that's why I want to tap in like this. Because I want to talk to that inner child. Really, that's what it is. That's who it is. We all know you deserved better. But we got to find the purpose in that pain. We got to transmute it. We got to release it, whatever that means. for you, however you want to approach that. That's why it said in the card, like, release any low energy mom feelings because it just doesn't serve you. Okay. All right. For some of you, there may be like some good news in regard to work, career, especially if you are an entrepreneur or you have your own business or whatever. I like that. Okay. Let's get into the tarot. Let's hang out, pull some cards. Let's see. Bottom of the deck, overall energy, Three of Pentacles. Okay. So for some of you, if you have siblings, you are very close with your siblings. This could also, oh wait, hold on. Three of Pentacles, the Moon, the Lovers. Okay. Yeah, some of you might have some trouble working with others, intimacy issues, issues in relationships, or just getting close with people. Even like in your work, you might have issues like working with people because, I don't know, just the stuff with your mom, maybe you never felt safe. Maybe you didn't feel heard to. Oh, maybe like you were always scared to mess up or do something wrong. Some of you, it's an energy of like, you don't want people to think you're weak. You don't want people to think they can walk all over you or treat you any type of way, like maybe your mom did. So you are kind of intimidating, because you don't want to be caught slipping. We have the Fool, we have the Ten of Pentacles. Okay. Here's one thing I'll say, Seven of Pentacles, Two of Cups. For those of you especially who might have trouble with relationships, that is turning around for you with this Two of Cups, Seven of Pentacles. But I feel like that starts going into play with the Fool and the Ten of Pentacles. There is some generational things that it's time to release. And the thing is, here I'm hearing that a lot of it is, it's not just like the things that you've gone through, but it's like, it's also past versions, like ancestors, especially like daughters, women, like you've gone through a lot, but it's so you can heal the bloodline so it can stop going. You know what I mean? Kind of like alcoholism, like everyone's an alcoholic and you're like, no thanks. And that sucks to be raised in a situation like that and have to deal with that. But because of that, you've chosen differently, makes me think of Drew Barrymore. Her life was wild. Her family was wild for many generations, and she really got that turned around. So there's a lot of beauty on the horizon, but there's a lot that needs to be sorted through, and it's obvious that it's difficult, that it's hard. If it were easy, everyone would do it. We wouldn't even be in this position, right? But again, it's an honor to be the one to overcome it, you know? Someone's mowing their lawn next door. Hopefully we can't hear it. All right. I feel like we can, though. It's so late, too. Well, I guess it's been hot outside. All right, it is what it is. All right, Spirit, let's get some cards. Oh, almost got something. We have the Star card here. Okay. Let's start with this. So we have the Star card, Six of Cups, Five of Swords, the Hermit. Yep, exactly. Exactly. This is beautiful. So the Star card, funny, we were just talking about Aquarius energy. This is Aquarius's card. Okay. This card is all about soul level fulfillment, co-creating with the universe. Your dreams are coming true. Whether you're in this space or not, Spirit's letting you know you're on the verge of a breakthrough. Things are really about to turn around for you. Things are about to get so beautiful, so delicious for you. And it's because of your ability to be vulnerable, to be real. That's why she's naked on the card. Because she shows up as her true self. She's not scared. And that's the thing, because you've been in a position where you were scared to be your true self, right? Six of Cups, Five of Swords. You've been in a position where you were scared to be your true self, where you were scared to voice your opinion, to show emotion. You didn't always have the luxury of feeling safe, you know? And for some of you, you even had to really grow up fast and kind of like protect your siblings, or some of you even protect your mom while growing up, while being so young. I'm really noticing the white lilies, which represents like purity. And for some of you, you felt like your purity, your innocence was taken quite early because of things that maybe situations you were in, things you had experienced, overheard. For some of you, it got really real really fast. But, well, hold on now. But here's the thing, yeah, with the Eight of Cups. So, because of that, of course, you had to walk away. Of course, you had to distance yourself. For some of you, like maybe the first opportunity you got, you left. Like for some of you, maybe going to school like far away, or just as soon as you could work, you worked and worked and worked and saved up money so you could, go get your own place. It's almost like some of you had to have like an escape plan. And for some of you, that was just a regular basis. Like you had to be able to get up and go at any moment. But the thing about the Eight of Cups, he's the hermit before hermit mode. And that's what we got here, the hermit, right? They both got the staff, the cloak. There's just a level of maturity, a level of wisdom, growth that's happened here. You definitely could be someone who tends to be more to themselves. Like I'm even looking at this card here again, and it's like very similar energy. So you definitely might be someone who isolates a lot. And I don't want you to do that to yourself, and we'll get into that later. But because you had to go off at a young age, for some of you it really does feel that way. At a young age you had to go off on your own. And through that you learned a lot. You became very independent, not only independent but intuitive. It's kind of something you have to develop when you're out on your own at a young age, especially as a woman, a young woman. People are crazy out there. So even though it was rough having to learn these things in this way, it is good that you learned them. These are important life skills. And I'm sure there's people who maybe you've been around who maybe didn't have to grow up as fast as you did or go through certain things. And they have a very beautiful, like, kind of life, way of looking at life, but maybe they're, a little ditzy or a little like you just know they could get themselves in some trouble by just not paying attention. I wouldn't even say ditzy. It's just like there's certain experiences that teach you, and if you don't go through them, how could you learn that? You know? And another thing I'll say, this is the star from the star card, right? So again, even if you're not here, just know you're on your way. Okay? There's so much beauty, so much abundance that is ahead for you. And it's because of what you've been through, what you chose to not repeat, the wisdom you have gained, and the decisions that you've made because of that wisdom. You are light years ahead. And I know for some of you, it might not feel like that, especially if you grew up in instability. You want to have that stability. You want to have like that confirmation that, like, okay, we're good, everything's good, nothing is going to happen. You know what I mean? But just trust that, like, you are a lot further ahead than you might give yourself credit for. Yeah, things are going to balance out. Some of you might win something in a court case or something like that. Okay. All right, you guys. So let's break it down. I want to start with the Five of Swords, Six of Cups, because I want to go through like a journey of This is what you've been through. This is what you had to sacrifice. And this is going to be like the blessing you get, right? Because again, it's not all for nothing. Okay, tell me more about the Five of Swords, Six of Cups here. Five of Swords, Six of Cups. Mm. Okay, we have the Page of Wands, the Eight of Swords. Yeah. See, the thing is, you are you have a spark for sure. Ugh, little bug. I don't like that. You might have been a kid who was maybe very artistic or very creative or maybe like spunky. Maybe you would like kind of do little fun things for attention, like little dances or something like that. Like this is just someone who just had a lot of energy, a lot of excitement. Like every day, it feels like you found something new to explore, something new to discover. Yes, discover. Like you were very, very adventurous. I like that energy. But the Eight of Swords here. So it's like, it feels like either something happened or, like you went from someone who was very adventurous, very out there to somehow anxious, nervous, overthinking, you know? It feels like there was a lot that you were, yeah, a lot that you were worrying about, a lot that you were carrying. And it was just a lot to maybe, and again, for some of you, it wasn't even an intentional thing, like maybe your parents were getting divorced, or maybe, somebody was sick, or maybe there was just financial stuff going on. Like there wasn't an intent to put that pressure on you, but maybe it was just you felt the tension, you felt the shifts, it's no. Yeah, it just felt like there was a level of awareness that happened, and it was just like, wait a minute, things feel off. And that really became your identity for a long time. Again, I'm drawn to this self forgiveness. For some of you, you're realizing that just being aware, being in certain rooms, being curious as well, because part of that curiosity can sometimes have you be exposed to things that you were not meant to be exposed to. Or just being, more intelligent. And for some of you, like you were very curious, but maybe quiet. So it was like maybe it just wasn't like recognized that you were paying so much attention. And for some of you, like that's also a thing. Like your mom didn't realize how much you absorbed. Like I think childhood trauma is something that, has been discussed for a long time, but I think that the depths of it and the understanding of the cycles and the curses and things like that is definitely highlighted way more now than it has ever been. And so that's like another aspect to it. Like understand that we have a lot more awareness, a lot more understanding than our parents, than our mother, for some of us. But as a society, though, we all have shifted greatly when it comes to how we take care of our children. And just the awareness of the generational trauma and to heal it and to stop it and things like that. So, yeah, you carried a lot. And even with the Four of Pentacles, too, it's like, I mean, with the wall here, I just feel like there was, you know, just a guard that feels like it had to be up. And maybe it just felt safer there. Like maybe there wasn't anything that anyone intentionally did to you. Maybe if you had gone to your mom or gone to somebody, you would have been embraced and would have felt safe. But maybe you just didn't know how because you were a child, right? Yeah, it's kind of back to that awareness thing. It's like you have the awareness to know like this energy is off, but it's also so off that I know I shouldn't be aware of it. I shouldn't be bothered with this. So I'm not going to like bother someone else and tell anyone what's happening or what I'm feeling or the worries I have because they're already so stressed. Mm. There's just, see, and even with the bricks, there's a lot of layers to it. There's a lot of layers to it. For some of you, it had a lot to do with maybe financial issues or stability issues. You could have had your mom could have been a workaholic, or maybe you are. See, I'm seeing this Nine of Swords here too. There was just, yeah, a lot of anxiety, a lot of anxiety. But with the Magician here, yeah, I'm hearing you brought it on. Not that you did this to yourself, but it's like that's how it needed to manifest. Like that's what your soul agreed to go through so you could reclaim your power from the overthinking, right? So it's like if you're sitting here having anxiety, overthinking, not even about childhood stuff, just in general because of the things you went through, right? If that's where we're going, then we have to do something to undo that. That was the purpose here. Something took your power away, so much so that you reclaimed it tenfold, right? This is kind of like if you go through, something where maybe you're picked on for like being scrawny, or maybe, you get in a fight or some sort of attack and you're like, I'm never going to be vulnerable like that again. So let me go to the gym. Let me learn like Taekwondo or something, let me carry something, right? That's what happened here. And that was the purpose of it. Nine of Cups. Yeah, you put on a brave face. I'm hearing you put on a brave face, right? It's like everything that you went through, everything that you experienced, all the heaviness, you just kept filing it away, putting it on your shelf, putting it on your shelf, putting it on your shelf, and just smiling, being nice, trying to, be good at school, participate like the normal kids. There's nothing going on, there's nothing wrong, You were very brave. But that's also why you're so brave now. I mean, the fact that you're showing up as a magician, that's powerful. And that's you. Okay. All right. So let's get into the Eight of Cups now. Having to walk away, having to keep yourself safe, having to keep yourself sane for some of you. I'm hearing for some of you, setting boundaries with your mom is the first time you had to learn that. And so it's like, hold on, let me get the rest of these cards out. Okay, because let me show you. We have the Sun card. This is the happiest card in the deck. So some of you, I already know, are saying like, how could this be a happy situation that I had to like leave a space that was supposed to be my home, a space that was supposed to be safe? Like, how is that okay? How is that good? And the thing is, it's good because you learned to choose your happiness. You learned to, or at least this was like a first big lesson in you choosing your happiness, your safety, your sanity, your future over someone else's comfort. You know what I mean? And there are definitely a lot of lessons that came through after this that continued to have you choosing yourself. 4422 on the timer. But these are important lessons that we have to learn. And it's up to us when they stick, right? It's up to us when we decide enough is enough. I don't want to have to keep leaving things that don't make me happy. I just want to choose happiness. I just want that to be my reality. And then you realize it's about me choosing that. It's not about someone deciding to play the role that they should play in my life to make me happy. It's about me deciding, oh, you don't want to make me happy? Okay. then I'll make me happy and walk away from this. And a lot of you, your mom was the first great example of that. With the Eight of Wands, Knight of Wands, there was a lot of like change that had to happen. Two eights as well, and then the infinity sign that's over the magician. Yeah, it's almost like, to me, this was like a really good taste of freedom. And like with the Eight of Wands, Knight of Wands, some of you really did like maybe traveled a lot or just traveled far away. Or you just use that time to really experience a lot of things. I think for a lot of you, you learned a lot about yourself. With the Sun card, too, this is about shining a light on something and clarity, too, like seeing it for what it truly is. I think a lot of you really got to learn a lot about your trauma, your triggers, what you actually like, who you're actually like, you know what I mean? Like actually feeling safe to be your true self, you know, not worrying about being judged or being shut down or no one even being there to hear, but really being celebrated for who you actually are. Yeah, and it's like through that situation, you actually met your soul tribe. You met the people that you were meant to be around. Some of you, wow, this is beautiful. I mean, gorgeous. Wow. I mean, you have the Ace of Pentacles, the World, the Page of Cups. Let me just do a few at a time. I picked up like 20 cards. Temperance, the Wheel of Fortune, Ace of Swords, Ace of Cups, Six of Wands. I mean, it's just beautiful. It's like because of this experience and just like having to flee, you found your true home. You found your true soul tribe, you know? And if you're still looking for them, keep going towards what makes you happy. Don't focus so much on what made you unhappy because you already had your happiness and joy stolen from you already so much. So let's start investing in what actually lights you up. And as you go along that process, find someone to help you heal, like the consultant expert card said, right? It's just beautiful. Yeah, and see, like after this energy, and for a lot of you, I feel like you've already gone through this personally. But for this energy with the World card, Temperance, it's exactly what you needed to help you close out a big karmic cycle with that World card. Helped you find peace, balance, harmony. And for some of you, that does not mean you have your mom in your life, or whoever you're watching this for. But it means you have that happiness in your life. It means you're choosing peace in your life. You're choosing intentionally the people you want to build with, the people that are coming along with you in this next part of your journey. And that's the best thing, being able to move intentionally. This makes me think of someone who's like been freed from a cult or like a very strict, home or like upbringing or something. It's like as soon as you get to experience other things, you realize like, oh my goodness, I get to be free. I get to be myself. That's what this feels like. And even though, yes, it is unfortunate that your family or your mother or whatever had to be the root of that and couldn't be a part of the thing that made you feel free and safe. But again, I do think a lot of us are here to raise the frequency of the earth. And unfortunately, a lot of people do experience abuse from their family. And I think a lot of us are the first generations to say, well, if that's how we're going to be, we're not going to be. And even though that's hard, it's to me, it's worse to put on a facade and go along to get along, right? It's worse to, you know, subject yourself to that when you don't feel safe. You can't be your true self, right? So there's a level of freedom and like autonomy and reclaiming of power when you choose energies, people, situations that actually uplift you rather than allowing something that doesn't just because of the relation, you know? And to be able to be some of the first generations who've had the opportunity to do it, it's kind of badass. Makes you feel like a superhero. All right, let's look into this hermit energy. So this is the card of kind of like that deep, deep healing, that enlightenment. You finally get it. You understand it. You're moving in the right direction. Let's see about it. Wow. The feminine energy is insane. We have the Queen of Wands, the Two of Swords, the Queen of Pentacles. There's also the High Priestess at the bottom of the deck. This is beautiful. So immediately with the Two of Swords, I just heard like some of you don't see that this is something that was totally like your soul chose to go through this. Your soul wanted to go through this because it wanted to be a part of the collective that shifted the family dynamic, that chose differently. Let me move this up. You know, your soul wanted to be the one or amongst the many that caused this shift, that stopped the generational curses. And yeah, I get it. It's hard. But, you know, for especially for those of you that are having kids, you're going to be so grateful because you're going to realize I chose differently. I'm doing differently and I'm so proud of myself. And even if you don't have kids, just how you're treating yourself and the boundaries you're setting it's such an accomplishment, seriously. Like to me, like okay, cuz look. Ooh, look at that. Beautiful. With the 5 of cups here. This is a perfect metaphor for this energy. With the 3 cups up front, he's sad, it's spilt over, but if he turned around, he would realize there's still 2 cups upright. What is there to be sad about? It's all is not lost here. And that's essentially what this energy is. It's like, yes, there was a lot of pain, disappointment, loss, comparison, whatever's happening here. But you choosing to go through this and having to endure this is exactly what you needed to start setting boundaries, to start choosing better for yourself, to choose better partners, to, you know, go to school and, you know, get a good job and take care of yourself and save your money and invest properly, you know, all of the things that we learn. Without the kind of failures of our mother, of our parents, of our mother figures, whoever, we wouldn't have the wisdom we have now. You know, we wouldn't know to choose better. We wouldn't know to rewrite the story. And we are the first generation to have the confidence to do so on our own, you know. And I'm not saying this is like the first time women or people in general are like setting boundaries and making change, you know. That's been a thing, but as a society as a whole, it's the biggest shift and I love it. Okay. Yeah, see the Queen of Wands, the Queen of Pentacles, the High Priestess, the Nine of Pentacles. Like, and it doesn't matter if you're a daughter, this is about your feminine energy, right? If you're a woman or not, we all have feminine energy. And this situation is exactly what you needed to tap into yours, you know? And it's not about like approaching from like, for some of you, it may have been, I felt like I needed to be saved by someone, I needed to be chosen by somebody. So maybe you didn't have the best boundaries, didn't have the best people around you, but now you learn better. That's what I'm saying. Like all of this is happening so you can learn better. And like I said before, it's up to you when you're ready to learn, when you're done learning, when you've passed the test. That's totally up to you. The thing is, everything in life is kind of like an open book test, right? If you allow yourself to pause, right? Pause, reflect, take your time before moving forward. When you allow yourself to do that, you can move in ways that really work for you, you know, when you don't just move from emotion but you move from intuition. when you move from a higher perspective. And that's what you gain when you go through so many different experiences. So, yeah, again, it's hard to go through those experiences, but you get so much from it. And then you get to not go through them later in life. So, for me personally, when I get it knocked out when I'm younger, I'm like, well, good. Now I can just, as I get older and I have more and more freedom, I'm really going to be living it up and having a beautiful, beautiful life. That's amazing, you know? See, yeah, Nine of Pentacles. Look at you, luxury, taking it, resorts, cocktails, having a great time. That's what you're going towards. That's what your life is about to be. That's what your life already is. And the thing is, I understand there were a lot of sacrifices and a lot of pain and a lot of hurt that you went through to get here, especially a lot that you didn't deserve to endure because you were a child. But baby, live it up now for the little you that didn't get the chance to, you know? The one that had to grow up too fast, the one that had to, endure and observe and be a part of things that were not fair, that were painful. Live it up now for that little child. Because don't make it be for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Don't make it be to keep yourself stuck in that energy. No, stun on them because you deserve that. Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Wands. Yes. The abundance, the attraction, the magnet. You are magnetic. That's what I'm hearing. You are magnetic. And spirit is ready to give you those blessings. And that's why it's important to heal the mother wound and to release that energy, because you deserve to have the blessings that are meant for you. And holding that energy is only causing delays. And the thing is that those experiences were never meant to hurt you or to cause you pain or to have you stay stuck in that energy, really. Because the emotional response is normal and that's what should happen. But it wasn't to keep you there. It was to show you where it could get better. It was to motivate you and kind of light that fire under you, Queen of Wands, to get you to move in a different direction, to get you to break these generational curses. So I thank you. Universe thanks you. The women in your bloodline thank you for choosing differently, for showing up differently. See, we have the Queen of Swords right here too. Yep. Beautiful. All right. Let's go to the Star card. That emotional fulfillment, all that beautiful energy coming your way, if it hasn't already. And see, like, these have a whole bunch of stars. Like, things are about to blow up for you. Things are about to turn up. It's going to be so good. Yeah, I heard, like, get your cup ready because it's coming. Everything's coming your way. Yes, healing from the betrayal, from the hurt, from the pain. You have done it. You have learned the lesson. You have passed go. You can collect $200. You did it. You know what I'm saying? You did it. All right, we have the Ten of Pentacles, the Lovers, the King of Swords. See, I love it because it came back around with the Lovers and the Ten of Pentacles. Because the King of Swords, he knows what he's about. You understand the truth here. And this isn't just about your perspective, mom's perspective. This is about actual truth, spiritual truth, no ego. That's where you're at. And you being able to see the truth in all of that is bringing you your abundance. It's bringing you your love. And I'm not saying you have to be like perfectly healed and you know what I'm saying? Like that, you don't have to forgive everything immediately, but it's just about having that awareness and understanding that it all happened for a beautiful reason, for a bigger purpose, to keep you in alignment, to get you to embark on your soul's path that you were meant to do it. You know what I'm saying? And you wouldn't have had, honestly, the balls to do it if you didn't have the childhood you had, if you didn't have the mother you had. So it's about having the appreciation of the experiences that made you you, loving you, celebrating you, because you deserve that. And that's what I'm saying. You've been through enough. It's time to let the abundance and let the love in. I want to clarify the King of Swords. Honestly, sometimes the incense gets in my face and in my throat, and it's like, you know. Tell me more about the King of Swords. Yeah. See, Temperance and the Six of Pentacles, balance, harmony. That is exactly what's coming your way. You've learned, you understand with the World card. This is a big karmic cycle. This isn't like, I feel like this is not just about your family or you or your relationship with your mom. This is global. This is what even is like, I'm trying to think of what's like bigger than global, but it's like the solar system. This is systematic. I don't know. But it's exceeding this timeline. It's rippling out everywhere. And it's because a lot of us are doing that work too. So seriously, take time to celebrate yourself, to acknowledge truly the huge work you're doing here. You know what I mean? Because it really isn't just about you and your mom. It's about all of us. It's about every version of us, all of our ancestors who had to be quiet, who had to endure pain, who had to, pretend to go along with things, who had to live lies, who had to be abused, neglected, whatever, who didn't have a choice. We have a choice now, And I know there's people in other places in the world who still don't have a choice. But it's all coming together. It's all waking up now. And you are the one who turned the alarm off. You got up out of bed. A lot of people were hitting snooze, not even setting their alarm, not even realizing something was up. But you did. And you chose differently. I'm proud of you and your inner child. All right, we're going to close it out with a Wisdom of the Shadow deck or card here. Yeah, see, let's look at this. Through that fear, and there was resistance to do this work. With resistance here, obviously, like there was so much fear. And sometimes when you're so scared, you feel like you have to keep that wall up to keep yourself safe, And at one point, that is what you needed to do. But now you realize tenderness, wisdom. It's safe for you to be soft. It's safe for you to let go. And you understand that because of your ability to kind of widen the lens on the situation and see not only your perspective, but everything, And like I said, we'll get down the street then. Ooh, I didn't like that. There's this car. Go. I'm doing a reading, But here's the thing, like without the things that you had been through, you wouldn't have the wisdom you have. And you allowed yourself to see the bigger picture. And it is beautiful because, right, it's not just about you, but it's about everyone who had to endure things and didn't feel like they had a voice, because that ends here. We're letting it go. We learned and we're letting go. All right, let's get one card to close us out. That's too many cards. I just want one. Okay. Ooh. We have discomfort. This looks really interesting. Some of you are maybe really uncomfortable, like being comforted. If you're upset about something and someone asks you what's wrong or tries to give you a hug, that might make you really uncomfortable. Some of you guys might have a name starting with D, or maybe your mom does. I'm hearing Denise. Dennis. All right. Discomfort. Now I'm just going to read out of the book. Oh, before we end the reading, I do want to tell you guys, if you want to deepen this mother healing, I do have an online ceremony taking place May 18th from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And this is a ceremony that is going to be centered around, healing the inner child, recognizing the wounds that we still have, how we're repeating those cycles, and really the purpose of it so we can release it, reclaim our power, kind of like what we're doing here in this reading. So I've got a meditation that I created for the ceremony. It's going to be really, really beautiful. And you're going to connect with your inner child, your adult self, and then your mother's higher self. and you connect with her higher self because, everyone has different relationships, right? So I want everyone to feel safe, be able to be open in the ceremony. So that's why you connect with her higher self. I also think that'll help with finding like the purpose in the pain as well. And then after the meditation, I will have us, come out of it, take our time, ask any questions, share anything we want to share. And then I'm going to close with a collective reading for you guys. So either I'll pull like a couple cards, or I'll pull a card for each person depending on how many people are there. So if you want to do that, $30 Monday night, the 18th from 6 to 8. Check it out. It's going to be in the description box below. If you want to go to the link, it's going to be there to get tickets, learn a little bit more. I also have a Facebook event page with way more details if you want to learn more about it as well. Okay, let's close out the reading. Discomfort. The art is heart aflame. I sit with the wisdom of my discomfort and receive the deep medicine that it has to offer me. Heart on fire, head swirling and emotion spiraling, burning up inside, letting it burn, holding with tender care, ease, support, gentleness, embracing the pain, watching without looking away, accepting, listening, medicine. So for some of you, maybe you're still needing to kind of acknowledge some of the pain that you've been through. I think some of you are able to talk about it, but maybe you're not so able to be vulnerable about it and really like say how it made you feel. When discomfort arises, how do we greet it? Are we willing to sit and let it speak, or do we rush to fix it or change it? How we are willing to be with our discomfort, listen to it, feel it, receive insights from it, all set the tone for how we embrace our wholeness, our lives, our wisdom. If life were always comfortable, we would lose out on valuable opportunities to change, grow, and explore ourselves. Exactly. Said that multiple times throughout the reading, And yeah, for a lot of you, it's not about changing what happened or saying like, oh, that felt good and, it was beautiful. It can still be ugly and be beautiful at the same time, right? It can still be hard and beautiful. And I think for a lot of you, you're learning how to have that appreciation for something that was so difficult. But again, it's what led you to change. It's what's leading all of us to change, and we're changing the world, and it's going to be so cool. When we can embrace the little discomforts that come up in life, we develop a resilience to withstand the intensity of their pull. Ooh, it's good practice. And some of you have had a lot of practice. When we can hold discomfort as it is, we can prevent ourselves from getting lost in spirals of angst, doubt, chaos, fear, uncertainty, or shame. Okay. We are invited to lean in and approach it with curiosity and the steady heart of compassion. We can look at discomfort like a part of us who is asking for something to be different, who just wants to be heard. Yes. Notice the what, and for some of you, you're like, yeah, my mom never listened to me. I never felt heard by her. So then you got to show up for yourself in that way. That's what I'm hearing. You got to listen to little you. You got to hold your hand. Because for some of you, you're looking for it from her, and she may not be able to provide that for you. And also, I feel like provide it for yourself, and then she'll be able to provide it for you. That's what I'm hearing. You got to do it for you so she knows how to do it for you. So you know how to be receptive to it. Some of you really need to do like some inner child meditating, journaling, kind of some sort of practice there. You might really want to go to my ceremony, or you could book a soul alchemy ceremony if you're local. We could do that one-on-one. Notice the wide range. Why did I sound like that? Wide range. Someone's inner child is ready. If you talk like this, your inner child wants to talk. Notice the wide range of possibilities of discomfort, physical, emotional, mental, energetic, when being vulnerable or when around a certain person, energy, or place. Consider a way to repattern the way you meet discomfort. Notice any tendencies to turn away, ignore, or fix certain layers of discomfort. Notice any feelings that arise when reading about discomfort. Notice how you felt while reading about that just now, Were your hips feeling tight? Your shoulders getting tight? How's your throat? And again, it's just like notice these things without judging yourself, because it's important to recognize what you'd like to release, what you'd like to work on, because that's what we're here to do. So this was a beautiful reading, quite long, but I really enjoyed it, and I hope you guys did too. Honestly, I think definitely one of the greatest things I've ever done in my life was be able to heal from like my childhood stuff and my stuff with my mom, because without that, I would not have started doing spiritual work, right? So, me being able to find the purpose in my pain wants me to help everyone else do it. And I know it's not easy. Like trust, I've been through it. I've gone through all the stages. And and it's a forever thing too, you know? But I don't know, you deserve to be happy, you deserve to be free, and you deserve to find fulfillment within and reclaim your power. And I'm here to help in any way I can. And I'm glad we could do a tarot reading for it. So, hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for hanging out with me. If you guys would like to book a reading with me or do a ceremony, cord cutting ritual, if you're local, you can go down to my website linked down below. That's also where you can learn more about the mother healing ceremony. That's going to be online, so you can check that out. And I also have all of my social media down below if you guys want to follow me on anything, have any questions, anything like that. Thank you for hanging out. Share this, leave it a like, leave a comment. You know the deal. I'll see y'all later. Have a good night.